Welcome, everybody. It is another wonderful episode of Monster Talk Live. I am Matthew Baxter.
And hi, everyone. I'm Karen Stolzner.
And hi, I'm Blake Smith.
So last month, it was Blake who came up with tonight's topic being Bigfoot. And you texted me, yesterday afternoon and said, so what's the next episode about?
I did that. So I thought,
said, well, you tell me.
I knew I wrote down Bigfoot and I didn't write down anything else. And that could really, in our world, writing down
That's
Bigfoot,
like
that could be anything.
Right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What about Bigfoot? But then you reminded me that I had promised I was going to go visit the Georgia Bigfoot Museum, which is called Expedition Bigfoot up in North Georgia. And then I panicked, but I managed to get it done. So I have followed through on my word.
You did, but you spoke out loud and the kids heard you, and then you had to commit to going.
Exactly. Once it was spoken in front of the children, it was a real thing that had to happen. So exactly.
Yeah. But certainly, even if we didn't have any prep, we could talk about Bigfoot anytime, any place.
After a lifetime of looking into this wonderful imaginary creature, did I say imaginary? This possibly real, but I don't believe in it, monster, or real animal or paranormal entity or ultra dimensional. Yeah, I think we could chat about it for a minute, but I'm very excited about having gotten to finally do this. It's been on my wish list or to-do list for a few years now. This place has been around for a little bit. So
yeah, on your bucket list. And there are certainly a lot of museums around the country, and that's basically the premise for tonight's show. We're talking about Bigfoot museums and Bigfoot sightings, experiences, that kind of thing, that we have had ourselves. So I think I should probably start, because I think my story goes back the furthest. Or maybe it does. Maybe Matt's does. I'm not sure, because you had some experiences when you were a kid.
Well, the thing is most of my actually going out and hunting for Bigfoot stuff has been more recent. But Bigfoot experiences go back.
Well, not that this is an experience for me. I haven't experienced anything, unfortunately, or happily. But I did manage to get to the Willow Creek China Flat Museum. And this was back in 2008. So, Blake, I think it was a couple of months after I met you.
Yeah.
So we met at Dragon Con that year. And so it was December of that year. So it was quite some time ago.
Which is going on right now. Yeah, I'm unfortunately not able to go this year, but it's happening.
That's right. Yeah. And what is not going on though this year is, I think it's called Bigfoot Days. It's a parade which is held annually, or was until I think last year, and this year it hasn't been held. So it's a parade and a festival which is held at Willow Creek, and it held for the last 60 years, but now not because of the pandemic.
What's so great about Willow Creek?
Well, it's near Bluff Creek. So the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin sighting, the most famous sighting. And even though, I was thinking about that, occasionally you'll get a video of Bigfoot, or people have sightings, but by and large, you don't get anything quite like that Patterson-Gimlin film. There hasn't been anything of that caliber really since then. So, and yet nowadays we've got smartphones all the time. You'd think that this kind of thing would be seen more frequently.
Yeah, Patterson and Gimlin were very lucky. They rented a camera and they went out into the woods to look for Bigfoot, and they found it on their first trip.
Yeah.
That is so lucky. That's very lucky. So.
Yeah, very lucky. So yeah, this place is about an hour away. The museum's an hour away from there. And so it's a little disappointing in some ways when you get there, because you think it's a Bigfoot museum. So Matt's got some pictures. I think if we've got a picture of the front of the museum, if we can find them. And he's talking and I can't hear him.
Nor can I.
It's because I'm muted. Come on, this is not your first day. You guys should know this. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually going to share this now. I think the first thing. Oh, wait a minute, I stopped.
Oh, it's interesting. We went back in time.
Yeah, it was very bizarre.
Yeah.
Let me see here. If I can find the one. Now you're talking about which museum are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. So this is the Willow Creek Museum. And I've given you two pictures. One is of a very large Bigfoot standing out the front of the building.
Is that the wooden, is that the Oma
the
statue, I think?
The big wooden one.
Right.
And it just says museum. So, you know,
Okay, yeah, because I
Bigfoot.
think I think the one that you might be talking about.
But there's also
is
one with
this
me
one.
standing out the front. So either of those is okay, just to give us a feel for the place.
Well, so we've got this
But, yeah.
one here.
Yeah, so there I am. There's the proof.
Oh, wow, that is a really big one. So I know the other one, but yeah. This is, that's
Don't
very
take
tall.
that out of context.
Yeah. So it does actually say Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot County is what it might say there. But yeah, so
Well,
that's the museum.
Now you're 4 feet tall, so that thing must be
Yeah,
14,
like 12.
5'10". So yeah, that's
a
pretty
big tall statue. That is very frightening.
It is. And but once you actually go inside, it's a little bit disappointing because I mean it really depends on how you define disappointing, because
Now is this anywhere near there? Because
yeah, this is part of it as well. So that is right next to it. Lots of pictures of me with my handbag. But it's a little disappointing because you get in there and it's mostly history. Now I'm a big history buff. So I find that fascinating. A lot of artifacts, and that was an old mining town as well. So Bigfoot, though, was relegated to one little room that's kind of on the side. So if you go there thinking this is going to be a Bigfoot museum, you will be sorely disappointed. But what they do have in that Bigfoot section, they've got their original plaster casts of Bigfoot, they call them, back to 1958. That's the Bob Titmus one. There, it's kind of blurry.
Could we say Bob Breastmus, because we have a lot of children who watch the show?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
family
you
show.
prefer. So they've got newspaper clippings as well of sightings and large, big events. They've got photographs of footprints, and there's one that dates back to 1947. But the exhibits are kind of dated, so it's like they haven't really revamped anything for many decades, and it's just this small room. But there are some interesting characters who work there. I met this older lady who was volunteering, and her name was Peggy, so I'm not sure if she's still there. But it was interesting because she said that she'd never seen Bigfoot herself, but I know he's out there. So I know he's out there, even though she'd never sighted him. And she said that clearly she was an old timer, had grown up there, lived there her whole life, and she didn't know anyone personally from the town who had ever seen Bigfoot. So I think that that's interesting. But countless visitors have seen Bigfoot. And there's a Bigfoot Memories journal, and it's there for visitors to write about their experiences, the sightings and the smells and the sounds. And there's also a very large map of local sightings. And so around the area, when I was there, it was about 350 sightings, places all around Willow Creek and Bluff Creek where people had supposedly seen Bigfoot. And yeah, so she was funny. I mean, she was very skilled at talking to tourists and making jokes about it. If it's not a Bigfoot, then it's a hippie, because there's lots of hippies and homeless people around there too. And she had a sketchbook of sketches of Bigfoot too that she'd drawn, even though she's never seen him or her. But she was an interesting character there, and I think they've got you can go there. I think admission's free, or at least it was when I was there. But to go there, it's kind of tricky. They often have they'll be closed during their open hours, and you kind of have to call ahead and make sure that they're open. Sometimes if they like the cut of your jib, then they'll stay open for you. If not, well, we're closing early today. And I've heard stories from people saying I drove 6 hours to get there and they were closed, or closing as I turned up. And so yeah, there's kind of a weird small town mentality, I think, to the place. But it's definitely the biggest tourist thing to happen to Willow Creek, because you've got a Bigfoot motel, and you've got Bigfoot burgers, and apparently a foot-shaped burger as well, and lots of souvenirs and wood cuttings of Bigfoot. So that's really their town industry, and good luck to them for that.
You think it would be hot dogs? I mean, you think hot dogs? I mean, because they're a foot long, more on theme, I think. than making a foot shaped burger.
Unless you get the little ones in the jar.
Yeah, Vienna sausage.
Oh, is that
A pig's feet or something.
yeah, you would.
But
Yeah.
so I remember her saying to me too that the Patterson-Gimlin film has never been discredited. So even though she'd never seen anything, she was a true believer. But it's a really fun drive to go there, and I urge anyone who's in the area. So I think it's Humboldt County. I think it is.
That would certainly tie in with the hippie theme. Yeah. Or
because I used to go to a town
the
there
growing and the plants and the herbs and the, so.
Yeah, I used to go to a town there called, there's Eureka and there's Arcata, the kind of university towns, but there's a lot of Bigfoot lore around there. You've got the redwoods. I mean, there's so much to see there. I think that there's a gravity spot, one of those, what's the other term for the mystery spot?
Mystery spots. Yeah.
So there's
Gravity
yeah.
Hill,
Yep, one of those. And there's so tons of things to see around there. But if you're into Bigfoot in any way, shape, or form, if you're watching this show, skeptic or not, well, obviously we've got skeptics watching, but it's totally worth going to see because there's a lot of memorabilia and just fun stuff to see there. And, it's kind of nice to give them a donation so they can stay open.
You wouldn't expect to find like literally a Bigfoot at a Bigfoot museum, though. I mean, that would be a zoo, wouldn't it? I mean, that would.
Yes, indeed,
and that would also be proof.
So I did also go out to the Bluff Creek area. I went there with a friend, and it's impossible, I think, to find that exact location. So I don't know if anyone's claiming that they have the exact coordinates and the exact spot, but
if memory serves, I believe they claimed that they had found it for a 3D scan. I mean, I think that was on Monster Quest, but it might have been for Bigfoot Legend Meets Science. But I think it was on Monster Quest where they actually went back to the same location and were like they had enough features that was fairly reasonable to believe it was the same spot.
Sure.
So
and I can appreciate that, but I think a lot of people go out there and this is exactly the spot. I know where it is, and it may be even before that show, and I don't think that they know exactly where it is. It's just that general area.
I think most people don't, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's on Bigfoot or Google Maps where like it's been pinned or anything like that, So
maybe that's something to do. But
anyway,
you'll find it off Highway 96. The Bigfoot Highway is how it's known, and I think we've got a picture here of that sign as well.
Yeah, let me take a look here.
So there's a Bigfoot highway and there's an extraterrestrial highway. Is there a ghost highway anywhere?
Well, that would, I think maybe every city has a haunted road, don't they? I know out here there's the Riverdale Road, and Matt and I have been wanting to do a little show on that. A lot of stories. So there you go. It's all kind of pixelated, the picture.
That looks good on my end.
Yeah. So there's a Bigfoot highway, and again, they really do profit off Bigfoot sightings and lore. But that's what we found a lot, right, Blake, over the years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's the Loch Ness monster or Bigfoot, and there's money to be made, and
there's money to be made. I mean, it's not a ton of money, but it's an ecosystem. I mean, I think we've seen that around sites where there's been big paranormal events, a lot of people are cashing in, if not by having a year-round tourist business, but by having festivals and that sort of thing. And so this festival is really bringing a lot of people. And it's like Falk, and I think Lyle Blackburn, who we've had on the show before, did a lot around for the Legend of Boggy Creek. When he went to visit, there was nothing really going on related to the monster, and he helped sort of push. I think he helped promote the idea of like putting something. They have the Monster Mart, and it's got like a lot of really cool. It's first of all, it's got a giant Falk monster on the side of the building, and it also has a really nice little museum and lots of things to buy there. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that and keeping the legends alive. That's part of what we love too. So anyway, about 2 years after that, I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time, and I went to another museum. It's the Bigfoot Discovery Museum. So I think, Matt, you know about it, Blake?
I don't. There's something in San Francisco or like in that area?
Oh, no. It's actually in Felton. It's in Santa Cruz County.
Okay. Is this the one where you have the smaller wooden statue outside that you're sitting next to?
There is another picture. I don't think I'm in this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks a lot, Blake.
No. This is not the one I was thinking of, but yeah.
No, so this is the one in Santa Cruz, and it's owned by a guy called Mike Rugg. So you might be familiar with him. He's a Stanford graduate.
Oh, okay.
So he really kind of plays up on that. He had a sighting when he was 5 years old. And what did he say? Once you've seen Bigfoot, you'll never go back, is his catchphrase.
I bet that's true. Well, I think there's Bigfoot and there's bears out front. And it's sometimes hard to tell the difference. I've noticed that's true in real life, not just in art. So,
I got to break in here really quickly. Karen and I were watching this YouTube video of this Bigfoot hunter. And he makes this video where he's packed up and he's going to go to Bluff Creek, in this video, and he knows right where it is. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He's got all his camera equipment. He's ready to go. And it is a painful video to watch because he's videoing everything, the most boring things you can imagine, like him walking slow motion up to a tree and then getting in front of the tree and going like it's a tree. So the thing is it goes along for a while, and then all of a sudden he cuts back and he's like, oh, I just had the most amazing experience. I just saw a really huge black bear. You've got all this camera equipment. You're ready to catch a Bigfoot on video, and you somehow video a tree and you don't catch the bear that scares you. And then he gets up to a certain point and he goes, you know what? I didn't bring enough equipment. Don't have enough time to actually do the hike to Bluff Creek. So I failed. I hope you liked the video. Press the like button, all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever watched.
Nothing. He got up to this point and there was a kind of barrier, so you couldn't drive any further. And he said it's about 5 miles this way. And that was as far as he got, but it was titled something about a Bigfoot sighting at Bluff Creek. And
so the movie was unbearable.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much like that pun.
Bigfootable.
But I mean, that's the thing is you got these guys that bring all this equipment and everything, that they're ready to catch Bigfoot, and they don't catch anything. The coolest thing on their trip, and they don't catch it on video. So how are you going to catch Bigfoot if you're not even ready to catch a black bear?
The way to get Bigfoot is you first of all start by publishing a small book with a drawing of what you expect to get. And then you rent your camera equipment, you bring a cowboy and some extra ponies, and you go out in the woods. You plan to take a whole day because you got to find this thing. It may take several minutes to find it.
Right.
And you find it, take one movie, and then you're set. You're all set. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You got
learn by example. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt there, Karen.
No. I think that's a really great example of what a lot of people do. I mean, he had that camera on himself the whole time. What's the point? It should be him filming what he's seeing or not seeing in this case. But anyway, with this Bigfoot Discovery Museum, he's been the owner, Mike Rugg. He's been researching Bigfoot since he was 5, since he saw Bigfoot himself. And I do think that even though he's a believer, the museum really has a comedy angle to it, because it's a lot of Bigfoot memorabilia. I mean, this guy has everything Bigfoot, from board games through to Bigfoot mugs and just anything Bigfoot you can possibly think of. So it's really a labor of love where he's, did we lose Blake?
I think we lost him. Do we really?
I think he was offended by something I said.
He never got to see this photo, I think, is what it was. He was waiting for that one.
Oh, that one, yeah. And
I think that's the one he was referring to, and that's not the one that got showed.
Yeah. So that was up in around the kind of Klamath Valley, Klamath River area, so up towards Bluff Creek. Really beautiful country, and certainly worth seeing for lots of reasons. And I want to keep talking about the Bigfoot Museum. Well, a little bit more to say about it.
The one that was the
one in Felton. So it's kind of
the Bigfoot Discovery Museum.
So it's closer to the San Francisco Bay Area. The Willow Creek is about 6-7 hours away north from the Bay Area.
Right.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth seeing. And I think that this one could be free too, or it could be just they ask for donations. So they probably have lots
of stuff to buy in there though, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But a lot of fun things to see if you know, like collecting things, and Bigfoot is your thing. They've got a lot of fun stuff. And they have another massive map. I mean, internet dropped here. I'm getting a text from Blake, so working on it.
His internet's good enough. He can text us, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I think he's just want to get a drink, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so they've got another map with sightings and smellings, as they say, in the area. But that's worth going to as well. I'm not sure if they're open at the moment due to COVID, but you want to look into it. But it is primarily for believers, but with this kind of comedy angle, makes me wonder, you know, if he's not a skeptic at heart.
Now, you had done quite a bit of looking into, I guess you'd say, and by quite a bit, like an afternoon, I think, of looking into like the Sierra sounds and things like that. Do you ever remember much of that? Because that was years ago when you looked into that. I know you've had a lot of believers come at you going, yeah, well, what about this?
Yeah, the Moorhead, and I can't even remember the other guy's name. So thanks for prepping me before.
Well, like I said, I know it was a long time ago. And about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of the, they claimed that they heard a lot of different sounds, and they have some recordings, but they really do just sound like run-of-the-mill forest sounds. Like it could be anything from birds to possibly wolves and bears and foxes. I mean, any kind of wildlife, really. We're not hearing anything that is comparable. Okay. I'm getting distracted seeing all of these text messages.
I was insulting Blake, sorry.
Saying that the show's better without him. So
I'll be suddenly going so much smoother now.
Yeah. So yeah, as for the Sierra sounds, they do have something like 8 hours worth of recordings, I think. And there are people who have translated the recordings as well. And
wasn't it like a military guy or something that was involved in some of that?
He's a crypto linguist, but a crypto linguist isn't someone who works in crypto.
This is a live show, everybody.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong?
Everything's going wrong tonight.
It's blocking me when I press that button. It just avoids me to another game. Dad.
Yeah, it's no longer playable. It says that's you got to find a different one. So that's not. Yeah, it's got to go to a different game. So anyway, we're doing the show.
Why is it not available?
Because it's a beta. We're doing the show right now, buddy. So wave hi to everybody, and go back upstairs.
I was just trying. I was trying to get the Godzillas. I was trying to you get these Godzillas, but suddenly the game is not available now.
I know.
Well, try something else.
That's because they're making a new one. They're making a new one. So they're in the process of making a new one right now.
Oh.
So go ahead and go back up and keep playing something else. Thanks. You can close the door, just not too hard.
So yeah, I can't remember the fellow's name, but I think it's something Nelson, and he's a crypto
That's
linguist.
Right, yeah.
So he's not. That doesn't mean a linguist who works with cryptozoologists, because that's just not a thing. And he has devised his own, kind of like phonetic description of all of these sounds, but he's created his own description. So he hasn't used the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is the international standard, which is to describe all sounds across all languages, including things like clicks from African languages. And for some reason, he chose not to use that. And he has created his own system, and he kind of breaks down these words. It breaks down the sounds into words and then into syllables, and he's translated it. So again, you really need to find proof of Bigfoot before you can find proof of Bigfoot language. But he's
I have to cut
certainly
in
done some interesting research.
Sorry, sorry to cut in. We've got a couple conspiracy theories going on here that we might want to see if there's any credence to them. Okay. One is that Bigfoot took out Blake, and even without all of the camera equipment, he didn't even see him.
Well, he was being so skeptical there,
It's true. It's true. So, but that is one possibility. Another possibility is we took him out and already replaced him with Blade. Um,
Well, I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean,
so,
he was watching Godzilla. I mean,
out with the
come on,
old, in
he's-
with the new.
yeah,
Come on. Let's,
some new blood, young guns.
so, and you know, and would you you want me to go ahead and hop in and talk about a little bit of my stuff here?
Well, it would be nice to wait for Blake, but I just don't
I
know
know
what's going to happen. I wonder if there was
know.
a storm there or something, or I don't know. Maybe
Or
he's
they're
still
out of
refilling
alcohol
his
and you had to go
drink.
make a run. That could be.
I maybe,
'Cause
yeah.
even the texting has stopped.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I insulted him, he has not come back yet. So
Yeah, it could be protesting at this point.
that's a possibility.
Well, you know,
Um,
this show is about Bigfoot, so we want to give the people Bigfoot. So I think, yes, you should proceed.
Well, I'll go ahead and press on. I do want to go a little bit off of where you left off there. Just this whole Bigfoot communication thing. Now, I do want to say that I'll bring it up here. My main Bigfoot hunting partner has been for quite a while now.
Oh,
Blake.
okay. So we are replacing Blake
Yes.
with Blade.
Yeah. He has been my number one Bigfoot hunting partner. And, you know, when we go out, we do try to do some of that Bigfoot communication. We throw rocks, we whistle, we grunt, break
Scratch.
sticks, scratch ourselves, all those important things. But there's Blade running toward a possible Bigfoot hovel there.
He ain't afraid of no Bigfoot.
No, he is not afraid of anything. He is ready to take on Bigfoot at any turn. And we're always looking for signs. And we've gone to quite a few really cool places, I think, to look for Bigfoot. In Colorado, it seems like anywhere, and I've got a little bit of theory about this myself, anywhere there's pine trees, there seems to be Bigfoot sightings. Ooh. And years ago, I was working this job. One of the largest counties in Colorado is called Jefferson County, and it's got a lot of wooded area in it. And so often we would have to be, you know, I worked for Jefferson County doing road construction, so we'd have to be actually up in the mountains doing a lot of this. And there was this old gentleman that worked with us by the name of Milton. And Milton day, he pointed up to the side of the hill, and he's like, "You see that cow up there?" And we looked and we said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, that's not a cow. That's a bush." And then the guy standing next to him looks at him and goes, "Yeah, Milton, looks like there's a whole herd of them up there." So the thing is Paradeolia, you know, seeing something that you think is something else, it is a pretty common phenomenon. And I don't know what it is about pine trees, but pine trees and Bigfoot go hand in hand. All the biggest sighting areas are full of pine trees.
Can I interrupt for a minute? I mean, we've got time since Blake is not gracing us with his presence, but the BFRO sightings database has a list of sites with the most sightings that have been reported. So they've got the top 15. Number 1 is Washington. Number 2 is California. 3 is Oregon. 4 is Ohio. 5 is Florida, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard of too many stories coming out of Florida. So interestingly, Georgia is not on this list.
There's a lot of things cited in Florida, though.
Yeah. Some more pareidolia, I guess. Yeah. But we've got Illinois, Michigan, Colorado's number 8 in hotspots. So he's rebooting now, on his way to join us again. So New York, I guess upstate New York, right? We're not talking about New York City.
Right, yeah.
Unless
Upstate
it's on
New
a
York
Friday,
is gorgeous.
Friday night or something, you know.
Right. Well, that's true.
Coming out of a club, I don't know. So Pennsylvania, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Arkansas. So those are the top 15. But I'm surprised that Georgia isn't included in that list.
Well, they got a museum, so.
Maybe they'll have more sightings. I don't know how old it is too. It's in Cherry Log.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out here shortly once Blake reboots and gets back online.
Well, maybe he didn't really go after all, and this is his way of getting out. Talking about it.
And I've been wanting to talk about Bigfoot for so long, and then he disappears. That's fine. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit
as
more
you
about
were
some of the stuff
saying.
here. So yeah, I've looked around all that. You know, say, so, look, I see a deer, and I took a picture of it. Now, had that been a Bigfoot, I would have taken a picture of it.
Mhm.
I don't know, just why you miss some of these things. So what did he say?
Something about the network being back for everyone else. So I'm sure he's talking about the rest of his family. I don't know.
Okay, well, that means he's almost online. So that's good. But I will say the signs are everywhere for Bigfoot. You always have to look out for Bigfoot signs.
Is this Pikes Peak or?
This is Pikes Peak. And there have been a lot of sightings in the area. So they put up this sign for your safety. And I like how they put Bigfoot in quotes.
That's a Bigfoot, yes, scare quotes and as two words as well.
Absolutely.
Bigfoot.
So let's hang on here just for a moment, see if Blake pops back in. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the interesting things. I'll show you more signs of Bigfoot being somewhere other than an actual sign. But no, I figured he was going to be online, but I guess he's not yet.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll join us soon. At least 3 minutes before we finish. But have we got any comments?
Well, I was going to give a kind of a crazy theory about this whole thing here, but yeah, there's lots of comments. Milton is a good name for a squatcher. Now I know that there's a lot more comments, but I'm not scrolling backwards now. That's right. Florida would be a skunk ape. That's true. That's true.
Oh yes.
Different name. Yeah. And that's the thing is Bigfoot has a different name in so many different places.
Absolutely.
He's known by many names.
Hairy man.
But that's cool. Yeah. But yeah, it's
I'm wondering where does the skunk we need Blake back for this presumably, but I'm just wondering
guess what? Here he comes.
Is he joining us? You're letting him in?
We'll see. That's the thing is I shouldn't be. But
and he's muted.
If only. He's working on getting his camera going.
But I'm just wondering anyway if there are ever sightings of Bigfoot in the Everglades area.
Well,
Skunk ape. I'm just wondering what kind of terrain. Because Bigfoot, Florida is very large and lots of different kinds of terrain.
Blake, hello.
Okay, now can you let everybody know that one, Bigfoot didn't knock you out. Two, Karen and I weren't trying to get rid of you and replace you, because that's one of the big conspiracy theories right now is you're being replaced.
It's so easy to replace me too. It's there's a that's the best part.
Irreplaceable.
Everybody who hears my puns wishes I was irreplaceable.
Okay, now are you seeing are you seeing the same thing?
I'm seeing a delay.
Yes, I did get that pun, but you're having a really weird delay.
Yeah, that's quite amusing.
It is amusing to watch you not be in time with the rest of us. And see, this was what happened just before he fell offline last time.
Yeah.
I think right now he might be pointing at Bigfoot coming for him.
He's Bigfoot.
It's me, everybody. I'm actually Bigfoot.
So he might need to sign out and sign back in again.
We'll see. No, he's kind of moving. What's up, Blake?
He's in slow-mo. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to. There's a warning here. So I need to update.
An update, I think.
Houston, we have a problem.
Zoom is locked up.
It's usually me playing the robot.
He's locked up one of his children, apparently. Is that what's going on?
Again, under the stairs.
No, it's messed up.
It's messed up. I have no idea what he's saying. I
think he needs to sign out, sign back in again. Otherwise, this entire episode is going to be us talking about
Blake in slow motion.
Yeah, the technical difficulties.
Now apparently I have to reboot. Okay, this is lots of fun though.
For everyone else, I think, maybe not for us. I'm sweating.
Oh, geez. Blake was doing a wardrobe change. He's so Hollywood.
Oh, this is terrible.
Wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, I think I'm gonna text him here.
So yeah, and of course we have the Australian equivalent to the Bigfoot is the Yowie, which as
Oh my
Karen knows all too well.
Yeah, well, I'd like to, I think, do an episode of Monster Talk, just a regular podcast episode talking about the Yowie. And there's a guy called Tim the Yowie Man. Isn't somewhat of a believer, but I think it'd be fun to have him on.
He's a crazy character, though. I mean, he's a lot of fun. But
Yeah,
I think it'd be kind of fun to also do an episode, and maybe this could be another Monster Talk Live, is for each of us to choose a version of Bigfoot, whether it be the Yeti, the Yowie, the skunk ape, or Sasquatch. And I'm sure that there are more that I'm just not saying right now.
Abominable snowman, yeah.
Yeah, but maybe we should, kind of pick one or two and each kind of do a little portion on what makes this version different than the other ones.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And I mean, we've spoken about that a lot just from an anthropological perspective, that you'll have some idea somewhere and it kind of diffuses out to other countries and other continents. So I think that they're all kind of variations on a theme for sure, but I think that'd be fun. And I would have to talk about the Yeti.
Apparently you're boring, Blake.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gone again. All right, now we can get on with the show. So now that he's gone, but
I think he'll be signing back in again.
Yeah, I'll
and he'll be with us for at least 10 minutes. So.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, there are, I think, Bigfoot is very popular and lots of sightings across Colorado, and lots of different places that he's been seen. I mean, doesn't seem to really do anything around the Denver kind of metro area, though.
See, now this has already brought out talk about drop bears.
Yeah. And we have done an episode of Monster Talk proper on drop bears before. That's a very fun episode.
They're saying Karen can hold an Australian special episode. So it says his whole desktop was locked up by Zoom. So he's blaming Zoom.
Zoom.
See, I was smart enough to do Zoom updates on both our computers before we did this. So he said, I thought he said he had to farce quit. That would be close.
A lot of the time he does.
He's got to patch it. Okay, so we'll let him do that. But here's a crazy theory. Now it's
coming out of your mouth. It's crazy.
Yes. I'm the crazy conspiracy theory guy on Monster Talk. So here comes a weird one. Now there's a particular type of mushroom that's considered to be deadly, but also considered to be highly trippy. And it's the one we see in literature all the time as the red mushroom with the white spots. It's the ones that supposedly
Alice in Wonderland
supposedly inspired even the story of Santa Claus, with the craziness that this mushroom gives you. Now, this particular mushroom is called an Amanita muscaria, and it grows specifically where there are pine trees. And it has this very bizarre network underneath the ground that actually will help pine trees grow. And it's a very strange kind of mushroom. And it just makes me wonder that it seems like there are so many sightings around areas with pine trees if that mushroom didn't help some of the sightings happen. Or, there are people that truly believe that these mushrooms are aliens. And they have a consciousness and everything else. So maybe that goes hand in hand with the idea that Bigfoot's an interdimensional being as well.
So these are poisonous.
Yeah, and the thing is if you know how to prepare them correctly, then you can get rid of the poisonous content in them.
You're reminding me of The Simpsons.
The hallucinogenic.
With the fugu comment about how it's fatal, deathly, but if you prepare it correctly, it's quite tasty.
Yes. Well, this is probably a little bit closer to the what was it, the Guatemalan insanity pepper, than the trip that Homer goes on with that. That's probably a little closer, where the coyote is voiced by Waylon Jennings, I believe.
I wonder where that is on that scale.
That's his spirit
hot
guide.
Peppers.
Oh, it was off the charts. That was a crazy one. But the thing is, I'm so glad we got to address that. It just makes me wonder if there isn't a little bit of some hallucinogenic mushroom that maybe helps start the whole Bigfoot and Sasquatch idea.
Or just hallucinogens in general, or drugs. I mean,
little bit of
further
peyote and
yeah, well, Peggy's comment about hippies, and I mean, certainly if you've got states like Washington and California and Colorado, then maybe there's some pot smoking going on.
yeah.
Doesn't hurt. A Bigfoot, and that would certainly smell like Bigfoot, I think.
Oh, that's right. Johnny Cash was the one who voiced that. That's right. Not Waylon Jennings. But yeah,
I didn't know what you were talking about for a second. Johnny Cash. It's like, wow, we're really going off on some weird tangents on tonight's show.
Yeah, no, I just happened to pop back into the comments really quickly, and I wanted to let Soup Bone know that you did talk about the recordings of the so-called language, because he was asking about that. Well, Soup Bone, I don't even know if that's a male or female, I'm guessing. So,
yeah. It's non-binary. But I think what we should actually do is to do an episode on the Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, you and I have talked about how that would be a great name for a recording studio.
Totally.
But we should do an episode on that. But I think because we're about 15 minutes out from closing, from ending.
Yeah,
maybe you should continue. You should continue talking, and then when Blake finally joins us, he can have his say.
Yep, absolutely. He's totally going to miss all the coolness, though. But
he can watch this. He can watch his own show for once.
He can watch his own show. So yeah, so here talking about the signs. But and the signs were everywhere. When every time we go out, we would always see these kind of things. We went to Breckenridge, Colorado, to take a look out, and the search for Sasquatch. Can you prove Bigfoot exists? And it turns out to be an escape room. So that was kind of disappointing. I thought that was like a place we could actually go into. But
Bigfoot is really popular for a lot of brands, like craft beers and things like that.
But we did
look.
Trendy. Oh yeah, totally. Now we did look around Breckenridge quite a bit, and we did find a velociraptor that attacked Blade.
He attacked our son.
Yeah, that was cool. But we, it doesn't matter what the weather is. We are out there looking, and looking for more signs, looking for footprints in the snow and the melt. And we noticed all these pine cones put together in a very peculiar pattern. And
it means something.
It means something. This is important.
It's kind of Bigfoot language, semiotics. Yep.
The broken off branches, because we know they like to break branches and stuff to as a form of communication.
Yeah,
so
to get attention.
There's more proof. Yeah. So don't catch us. We don't want you to find us, but here we're going to make some noise so you can get your attention.
Exactly.
But we've gone to all kinds of fun mountain trips in Colorado looking for Bigfoot. And Bernie Sanders found him, I think, before.
Oh, that's a blast from the past, isn't it?
Yep. We have a local restaurant called the Yak and Yeti, and found him there. And it looks like, wait a minute, we might have another Blake. We'll see if he makes it in. But it looks like he's coming in, connecting to audio. So yeah, it was a really good rainstorm when we were up near Red Rocks trying to find him. And then we've had some good winter weather up there trying to find him as well, up near Georgetown. Now, the interesting thing about Georgetown is we actually did get a photo of something in the trees. And I don't know what to make of it, but
there he is.
But and the thing is Blade and I were actually riding an old train. They have this old train, so the Georgetown loop. And this was standing in the trees, and not a single person on the train saw it.
Except for you guys.
We managed to get a shot of it. In no way is it two-dimensional, but he is an interdimensional being. So we don't know.
Stop and smell the Bigfoot occasionally.
I don't know what to say about that. But
well, you said no one else saw it. So
that's true.
Blake, are you hearing us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, things look different.
Yeah, well, I'm on a different laptop. I gave up on my fancy laptop and went back to my cheap 7-year-old MacBook Air. So here we are.
And having success. So
and it does look pretty good.
Yeah.
You missed so much really cool stuff.
Did I miss Bigfoot? It looked like I missed Bigfoot.
Mind-blowing stuff. But I don't think Matt talked about there's a Bigfoot casino too, isn't there? That's,
right there in Central City, there's a Bigfoot casino. And they've got huge statues of Bigfoot on the inside. If you win the big jackpot there, you do get dinner with Bigfoot, I believe. I don't know if that's true because I basically made it up, but it is a possibility.
Oh yeah, but lots of sightings of Bigfoot in Colorado, and Blake just missed everything. We just found proof of Bigfoot and
now I do have two actual Bigfoot experiences that I can talk about.
Okay.
If you want to tell us quickly, because then it's going to be Blake's turn.
I will blaze through these. One of them was a camping trip that I was on, and I was up in northern
Are these stories
Colorado.
Consensual? Is this consensual Bigfoot, or
it wasn't consensual for me if I didn't give consent, but I don't think he cared. So the thing is sitting around the campfire, and I start. What I heard, I'm trying to remember. I think it was like kind of off in the distance. I hear a branch break, that's Bigfoot communicating.
That's
we know that.
Sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know that. So I hear this branch break and I'm like, what was that? And then a few moments later, behind me, crack. And then a few moments later, over there, crack. It started to seem like we're surrounded by Bigfoot because there's no way he's going to move that fast unless he's interdimensional. We really got to leave that open. So a few moments later, I hear this kind of,
yeah.
Okay, that was weird. And then behind me, and then over on the side, and it's like, I have no idea what's going on. And then it starts raining just really gently, and everything mellowed out and went away. So I don't know what that was, what happened, but it had to have been Bigfoot because there are no other explanations at all.
Couldn't be anything else.
It could not have been a bear. It couldn't have been the fact that sound does kind of act strange in the forest. Sometimes you can't tell the direction things are coming from when you're surrounded by trees and things like that. But I mean, obviously it was Bigfoot. There's no other explanation.
Did you see any rocks being thrown?
No, I was prepared to throw rocks at it.
Yes, I had heard that there's a lot of there's a lot of that rock throwing thing, and I've heard in Colorado a lot of people who look for Bigfoot are being stoned, and I didn't know if that was related.
Oh, yeah.
So you missed a lot. You missed a lot
about that. We've already talked about drugs.
No. It's stuff that you're not expecting. You might want to watch this episode. Is all I can say.
I'll try to remember. Yeah. I never watch our stuff. I don't know.
That is what I said. See.
So the other experience I had is some friends of mine and I. I was a teenager at the time, and we decided to just go out in the woods one night, build a campfire, and basically tell ghost stories. And we got ourselves all freaked out telling ghost stories around the campfire. And then it got cold. So we went and got back in the car, started up and had the heat going. And we all fell asleep in the car with it running. So we're there. And then all of a sudden, something shakes the car. And it was like, and it was terrifying, whatever it was, whatever it was, Bigfoot. And it woke all of us up, just out of like that kind of almost dream state, so everyone really paying attention, aren't you, Blake? You're really paying attention.
This monitor is so small I can't see. So yeah,
like the focus you have right now.
Yeah.
I'm leaning.
Yeah, that is pretty creepy. Yeah, it's like when I was a kid in the bathroom and that guy looking through the crack in the stall at me. Anyway,
right.
Go on.
Another story.
A lot of your Bigfoot stories are like this. It's like
yes, they are. But now, actually, with that one, what had actually happened was the car had kind of stuttered a little bit. That like boom, 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 boom kind of thing. They do every once in a while, and that was the shaking of the car, and that was also the growl of Bigfoot. But coming out of that dream state, we were positive Bigfoot was going to kill us at that moment, but he didn't. Or
black bear,
or a black bear, yeah, or my stepdad. It could have been any of those things. But he's
much scarier than everything else. But anyway,
that's for sure. He has been mistaken. He's been mistaken as Bigfoot. But Blake, I think we should pass this over to you. Tell us about your fun day.
I thought he'd frozen again until I saw his eyeballs moving.
I'm excited. This seems very stable. It's embarrassing that the $300 laptop is working better than the $1,500 laptop. It's just dumb.
Typical.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited. I'm glad I made it back because I promised I was going to go to the Bigfoot Museum in North Georgia, and we did it. I took 3/5 of my family went. My wife and one daughter stayed here, and then the other daughter and my son went, and we all went up. This is in Cherry Log, Georgia, which is up 575, which is really as about an hour away. I thought it was even further, but no, it's about an hour. And it was great. It's
Beautiful
a lovely little
there.
museum. What's that?
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
beautiful
share it
around
again.
there, the trees.
Oh, it is gorgeous. Now I love going up there anyway. This is up near Ellijay, where they have like a lot of apple festivals here in North Georgia. So there's lots of things to do up there. But
What's a pink pig?
it is a barbecue joint.
Oh, I should have known. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of barbecue. There's a lot of apples. There's a lot of barbecue.
Yep.
And then
And a lot of Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Bigfoot up there. So no, it turned out this was a lovely museum. So this is Expedition Bigfoot. Let's see if you can see this. This is that clear? I don't know if you can see that or not. We can.
Well,
post
no,
it.
see, here, we'll do this. Now you can show that.
There you go. So Expedition
The
Bigfoot.
museum.
Biggest.
Gift
Now,
shop.
I was hoping. I've actually tried to talk to the owner before, and I just didn't have much luck. And when I went up there this time in person, trying to meet him, he's actually just gotten out of the hospital. His name's David Bakar, and it sounds like he's on the mend. I didn't really pry as to what's going on, but hopefully, I left my contact information, so maybe in a few weeks we'll hear back from him. But it is a really nice little museum. First of all, it feels very, it's like kind of rustic. On the outside, it looks like a metal building. On the inside, it's very much sort of red pine wood and lots of exhibits. And I have to say, I really would like to talk to him because whoever, and I assume this was him or he either did this or had it put together, like the exhibits are really like key moments of like Bigfoot history and lots of plaster casts. And I have to, we've talked before how it feels to me like in some ways a lot of Bigfootery is kind of tied in with almost like a religious experience. Like people who see Bigfoot, it feels like they've had like something life-changing happen to them.
Well, I want to ask you really quickly. I mean, that sort of logo there, it looks like half Bigfoot and half mystical medicine man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is, it's on my shirt too, but I've lost my good camera here. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be tied in with Native American lore. They have a whole lot of stuff about various Native American tribes in their sort of hairy man legendary. But what I was going to say was the way he's put together these sort of little recreations of various moments in Bigfoot history, it did feel a little bit like Stations of the Cross, from a Catholic church. Like you go to this place and you can see Ape Mountain, and you go to this place and you can see the Falk monster. So as you're kind of walking around, and here's the Yeti, and you can go to these different spots. Yeah, so it's very cool. He has stuff set up like for around the Yeti. They have the Pingbosh hand, the finger that was tied in with like Jimmy Stewart. We've talked about that before on the show about it being sort of smuggled out of that region. And there's like the Yeti scalp that we've always seen in Bigfoot books and Yeti books. And so I assume these are obviously not the real ones, but they look really good. They're like really good recreations of these sort of iconic relics of Bigfoot. It felt very much like a museum, but I could not shake that feeling that there was an almost sort of meditative religious sort of approach to a lot of the stuff there. It was really, but it's really interesting and different to ones that I've been to. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of unique. And of course, I didn't send you a picture of this, but it was absolutely the most surprising exhibit. Was like a 36-inch long preserved stool. Careful. Yeah, no, it's a giant poo in a glass case. I was blown away. It was like, that's a big poo. We marveled at it. Bigfoot or no, that's a big poo. It's just like it was very impressive. Lots and lots of very religious. I can see again. It's like, holy shit. No, it was great.
Yeah. There's no way that wouldn't have been a spiritual experience.
Yeah, no. Whoever laid that down had a spiritual experience.
Definitely a relic. Yeah.
But like from is it a fun? I mean, if you don't believe in Bigfoot at all, I don't know how much fun it would be. Well, I
Well,
guess
tell us.
literally I do, but I mean, I don't believe these are real animals, but I love this stuff. And so being surrounded by all this, these, reproductions of cats and hairy monsters and all the in the newspaper articles, he's got tons of, it was great. The 7 to 10-year-old me was still jumping up with excitement at all this stuff. I really had a good time visiting. I guess the big hole in the experience, like the downside, it's like in between Elijah and Jasper, and there's not much, there's nothing to eat. And that's
no Bigfoot burgers.
Right.
That is the downside.
That is the downside. So you have to like drive 5 or 6
What about
miles.
the pig?
Well, it's down the road. Everything's down the road.
That's just an ad for the pig pit.
Right? Exactly. But they did have they
60
had
miles away.
a good little gift shop, a ton of hard to find Bigfoot movies. I've had almost everything already in my collection, so I didn't have to buy any of those. But they had like a lot of Seth Breedlove stuff, which is easy to find but fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so the small town monster stuff there, and it's like a really nice gift shop. And again, they had like little movies, and they had as you're walking up, the music is very themed around like adventure movies. So we had Back to the Future and Jurassic Park music was playing, and my kids got very excited about this sort of like cinematic approach. And so I don't know if I don't know if it was like that I learned anything, but I'm probably not the average attendee. But like if you go to any museum, it doesn't really matter if it's Bigfoot or other stuff, you're always going to run into somebody who's a know-it-all, right? And
you're the know-it-all, right?
My lips were sealed. I was being quiet and observant. But I was watching like his different groups went around. There was always like some guy who looked a lot like me. Was not me, but there was always somebody who was like, now let me tell you what this is. Like you could read the card, but no, don't read the card. Let me tell you what it is, because I know all about it. And there was a lot of that going on. It was great. And I wanted to talk to these people, but with the we were masked up, and it was very COVID protection friendly. There were masks available. Nobody was giving us any grief or anything like that. It was really friendly and clean and fun. I forgot to check out the bathrooms, but they had bathrooms. That looks good. So, and I didn't. Maybe I could have left my own 36-inch long poo. I didn't.
Well, there was no food around there though.
But there was no food. I'll have to go back another time. But there was a lot of there was a lot of stuff like what does Bigfoot like to eat? And it's the same stuff you would see on Finding Bigfoot. Peanut butter and candy and nuts and berries,
psychedelic mushrooms,
clearly tripping with Bigfoot. But and they had like a little miniature DNA lab. I really really liked this a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to get to talk to the owner. So yeah, it was great.
We just discovered today that there's actually a museum in Bailey, Colorado. So we will try to get down to that one and give you a review of that as well. But I want to ask you, Blake, have you seen Bobcat Goldthwait's movie? Was it Willow Creek?
I have it, but I haven't watched it. When that came out, I tried to track him down. I thought
just came out like 2013. So
yeah.
Can't blame you.
Yeah. So I'm going. It will get watched. I am watching a lot of Bigfoot movies, but I started
there are a lot of them.
There are more than 200, and we the big footage feature we do. I started back with the 70s stuff. I am going to hop forward because there's a relatively new one that was like a 3-part special on I think it was on Hulu. Sort of it ties in Bigfoot with the Humboldt County drug business. It's got murder Bigfoot. It's good.
Yeah, and I keep threatening to watch that myself. So
it's fun.
I heard it's good.
It is fun. It's good. There's I think to be disclosure, there's a little bit of a bait and switch in there, but it is it's well presented and engaging and fun. So as fun as a murder story can be, so which apparently it's not my thing, but a lot of people like their true crime, and this basically is a marriage of Bigfoot and true crime. So
cool. We should probably wrap things up pretty soon, and I'm thinking about next month's live show. So that will be October, and I think that the following one would be too late to do anything Halloweeny. So even though it's the start of the month, I mean, for people like us Halloween is not one day.
Hot dog. Let's do something Halloweeny. Okay.
It's an entire month, sometimes an entire year.
Yeah.
But since it's the month of Halloween, I think that we should do a kind of Halloween themed show. Maybe talk about ghosts, maybe paranormal like experiences that we've
Matt,
had.
have you ever done anything with like running haunted houses, Matt?
I used to be a haunted house critic.
Okay.
Where I would during Halloween, I would go around and visit all the haunted houses and then rate them and everything, and it was lots of fun.
Okay, cool.
So I know the business pretty darn well.
We'll figure something out, but I totally agree. Yeah. Halloween theme sounds good. So
I think so. Yeah, and so we'll be. I think we'll have another episode of Based on a True Story coming out soon.
Yep.
Matt, what is that one?
What was that? Is that Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Annabelle will be coming out, and then we're going to be recording one soon, right?
Next week we're recording The Entity.
I know. I'm finally going to watch that movie. I've been putting it off for a long time. So
you've seen it before, though, right?
I've only seen like 5 minutes of it. So
no,
yeah,
no. Okay, everyone watching this, you have to see the Entity. It's so
that we can have lots of
I'm very familiar with it because we have one listener who's been lobbying us for the whole 10 years we've been doing the show. When are you going to cover The Entity? When are you going to cover The Entity? Well, now we're going to cover The Entity. So
I love
that
story.
We have it's someone who does that for every topic, because we had that recently for someone asking us about carnivorous plants, and so we've got our episode coming up.
We do.
Well, and it's such a great thing to have fans like this, because you remember that one person years ago that said, Monster Talk, how many episodes of Bigfoot can you do?
All of them.
And it's like, dude, there are so many things to talk about. This show opens up so many subjects.
We could do this our entire lives, and hopefully we will. And we'll be scratching the surface.
and as long as we can afford to. So if anybody would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/Monster Talk and check it out. Any help would be very, very much appreciated. And make sure you keep listening to the podcast, which is just getting better and better.
And we joined Airwave tomorrow. Our episode on UFOs, and we're interviewing Toby Ball, who does a show called Strange Arrivals, season 2. But it talks about Rendlesham Forest. But that was like the first episode I believe I've gotten insanely upset at, and like I kept having to like go on these crazy rants. And
you didn't edit that out?
I did not. I left a lot of that in. So so this is probably a very special emotional Monster Talk. Blake goes crazy about UFOs, so that'll be fun.
It's personal this time.
That's right.
We've got lots of fun stuff coming up, but I always love these live episodes. It's just really great to be able to connect with people watching, and we always get feedback afterwards too, with people watching the archive. And so these are good fun, and I think for a while there we were doing them weekly, and it was a little bit too much work to get that together. But taxing. Monthly we can handle that, and with everything else we're doing. So check out our previous episodes if this is the first one that you've watched, and our episodes of Based on a True Story too, and the regular podcast episodes too. Lots of fun things coming up.
And I will be restarting the Ask a Paranormal Investigator episodes. Took a short break with that. They will be restarting again. And, everybody on these videos, click the like button if you're having a good time, and absolutely subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I fell out of the chat, but without my second monitor and this time I couldn't get back into the chat. And my wife wasn't able to make it tonight. Normally she's in there messing around. But on behalf of her, thanks for all the people who did come and watch this live. And thanks a lot. And I wish we could be more engaged. We will be next time. So absolutely.
Well, you should have stuck with the conspiracy theory. I think that you were dragged
abducted
off by
Bigfoot.
They stole my shirt and my internet.
We noticed.
It happens.
There was talks of wardrobe malfunctions going on, definitely.
We edited out the nip slip. That didn't make it onto the air, right? So good.
It did not. It did not. Yes. We're good.
Well, thanks for joining us. I was going to say good night, everyone, but we've got
good night, everyone.
around the
good
world,
night, everybody.
So good morning.